All right. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. We are going to begin right now. So I usually like to give people a couple minutes to come in. Of course, it's Saturday. People are still getting to the links, opening their emails, etc. But we are going to begin now because it is a shorter event this time. For those who have attended our past events, they've been a bit longer. So we're just going to jump right into it. All right, so hello. I want to see if you guys are active and awake and paying attention. So let me know how you guys are feeling today. If you're feeling amazing, if you're feeling good, drop a number 1 in the chat box. Let's get some energy flowing. Let's get some energy pumped up. Drop the number 1 in the chat box. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sapphire. Hello, Emily. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Liz, Nad. Hello, Rosa. Rahab, I hope I pronounced that right. Katharina, hello. Hello, everyone. Rosa, hello, everyone. Yes, I love this energy. I am feeling amazing as well, Kath. All right, so again, we're just gonna get into it. But before we start and before I introduce, our amazing speaker, who I will actually take off a video right now, Elaine, if you're ready, you can come off a video. But before we get into that, I do want to do just a quick little mindful exercise. Being creators, there's a lot that we have to do. There's a lot of work we have to do, right? There's a lot of effort we have to do. It takes a lot of mental, emotional, and, physical energy to do what we do. And so, having these simple self-care activities, these simple mindfulness activities where you can just ground yourself, calm yourself, de-stress yourself is very important. So we're really just going to do a quick 30-second breathing exercise. And basically all you have to do is breathe in for 4 seconds. So deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds. And then exhale it for 4 seconds. All right, so we're gonna start right now. So breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds and exhale for 4 seconds. One more time. One more time. Perfect. Wow, I love doing those. Oh, I do that every day, and I always just feel like my energy shifted. Life is good. Nothing's going on in the world. I just feel great. All right, so if that made you feel good, drop a number 2 in the chat box, just so I know if I should still continue to do these breathing exercises for these events. All right. So drop a number 2 in the chat box if that breathing exercise made you feel good or just a little bit better. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so so one more thing before we get into it. I know Elaine's just waiting there. So before we get into it, I just want to drop a poll. I have a question for the audience, okay? So if you guys look on your screen right now, you're going to see something pop up, and it's a question. Just click on whatever applies to you, all right? So the question is, as a blogger / content creator, what service would you or do you currently outsource? So what do you hire for? Do you hire marketing? Do you hire advertising? Do you hire someone to help you with content creation, branding, sales, funnels and lead magnets, social media, landing pages, or your website? All right, so I'll leave that there for a few seconds. I see the answers rolling in. Thank you. All right, and it's gonna come down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, awesome. So you guys can quickly look at the results here. All right, so social media is a huge one. I'm not surprised. Social media does take a lot of work. And so even for me, myself, I outsource that sometimes. And there's actually someone here a lady named Jessica who later on you guys will be able to promote yourself, and I hope that she'll drop her website because she can help you with that. Okay. All right. So great. Thank you guys so much for answering. So let's get into this. Elaine, hello. How are you doing?
Well, thank you so much for finding me on Instagram.
I'm happy I did. I love your branding. I love what you do. I love, I checked out your journey. I went really far back. I loved your website, everything. So everything that you do honestly aligns with Creative Collab and what we want to teach people. So I figured honestly, you'd be really great to help us today, providing some tips, some tricks, whatever, to help some bloggers turn their blog into a banking machine, right? So yeah, I'm excited to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I guess we can just get into it. Just give the audience a little brief history into who you are, as a blogger.
So how it all started was, I would say, a sad but happy accident. So originally I was in the wedding industry, worked my way up through corporate, was the national wedding sales manager. But one day my fiance from overseas, actually he was my boyfriend at the time, called from overseas and told me that his brother had just been murdered. And so I asked my boss if I could go be with him, be with his family. And he said no, because it would affect sales. So I realized I was just a dollar sign to the company. That was it. So I quit. I moved overseas to Honduras, and I was like jobless, purposeless, passionless, friendless. I literally left everything I knew and everything, culturally, everything. So I had to reinvent myself, in a developing country where there was no resources, and all I had was the internet basically. So I started the blog called Ladybossblogger to learn about how to become a lady boss and how to become a blogger, and that's exactly what I became. And that's what I'm here to help you do as well.
I love that. See, it's amazing already. That's first of all, that story is very impactful. I'm sorry to hear that you even had to go through that, and I'm even more sorry to hear that the company that you're with at the time even dealt with it like that. I think that's ridiculous. I'm very big on company culture, and those of you know Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about it a lot as well. You got to treat the people you work with, like they're your friends or your family, and so you have to have that same compassion. So, it's unfortunate to hear that there's still people out in the world like that, but at the end of the day, it led you to create something amazing out of that. So that's a good thing, right? Okay, so before we get into the questions, I do see a question here, and feel free, who's listening, if you do have questions throughout this event, just go ahead and drop in the chat box, and we'll kind of answer as we go. And if I don't end up getting to it right away, we will get to it before the event is over. So Kimberly's asking, what if you're doing it all and not outsourcing? Okay, that's a good question, Kimberly. I will say, if you're not outsourcing, I would say, can you handle it all? As entrepreneurs, we have to learn how to delegate, right? That's what helps us to be successful. So I would say, is you not delegating helping you or hurting you, right? Elaine, do you have anything to say for that question?
Honestly, I would say, especially if you're starting out, it doesn't make sense to outsource. I would understand that. An easy way to outsource without outsourcing is actually automate. So if you automate everything in terms of let's just say social media, right? And you schedule everything. For me, that was the first thing that I invested in my business, was a social media automator, and it queues my content every 90 days. So I actually haven't touched my Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn for a year now, because every 90 days it re-queues my stuff, and then it just that's it. So I would say automate your stuff, because it looks like you're online all the time when you're not.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing advice, and we literally just started. Down. Yeah, automation. The fact that she wasn't able to, or do your own social media for a year, I think that's like a lot of the creators' dreams. Just looking at the poll question, a lot of people said that they outsource for social media. So to know that you can automate for a year, I think is amazing.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that the automation that you there's a lot of social media schedulers out there, but it's the one that re-queues your content, so that you're making those automations actually work for you, and so you're spending less time on them versus re-queuing and filling them up every single day. That's just, yeah.
It's about working smart versus working hard. So yeah. I love it. Wow. Okay, amazing. All right, so first question is, in your definition, what would you say a blogger is?
A blogger is somebody who wants to create content and share it with the world. It doesn't, like, regardless whatever it is that is like on their heart, whatever it is that they want to learn. I would say there's different aspects of bloggers. So there's bloggers who start off and they're experts in something and they want to, share that knowledge with the world. There's also bloggers who are beginners and they're wanting to learn. So whether you're an expert or a master or a beginner, you're still a blogger, but you blog about different things. For example, when I started, I was like, I knew nothing about, lady bosses or anything like that. So I was a learner. And so I interviewed other women just like you're doing. And that was what I blogged about, was other people versus, like, as I said, if you're like more of an expert, then you might blog about your knowledge and stuff like that. So a blogger is just, someone who wants to share their knowledge with the world.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you pointed that out too, because it is different, right? You have the Oprahs who just interview people, but then you also have like the Gabriel Bernsteins who also teach people, right? And so I think that's very important in knowing your lane, knowing what you want to do is very important as a blogger. So then that way too, I think it saves a lot of time, right?
And I would say, like, it's okay to go from learner to expert. Because once you like learn, that's kind of like what I did, right? Like, I learned and then I started teaching and then I learned more and I started teaching different, so it kind of like, as you learn, you grow and you kind of see what your audience wants. Like, I actually never wanted to blog about blogging. I never wanted to blog about social media, all that stuff. That's what people wanted from me. And so I just listened to them, and then I started creating content for them. So when you start out, I would say people generally create content for yourselves because you really don't know. You don't have an audience out there. But as you continue growing, if you don't listen to your audience, that's when you get stagnant and you get stuck because you're not like in tune with and your audience is what makes your blog grow. So if you're growing with your audience, then your audience will grow and you'll grow with it. And it's just like that.
Yeah, no, that's like perfect, because it's really all about providing value. And the way to provide value is by solving a problem. And I think for many content creators, they forget that key thing. It's like, you're here to solve a problem. So it comes back to what you're saying. It's like, just listen to your audience. What do they need? What are they complaining about? And go around that and start from there. So I love that.
And how you figure that out, because often people are like, how do you do that, right? So like in your stats, you can see like which, like if you go on WordPress, right? You can see which blog posts are trending, which ones have more views, have more clicks, different stuff like that. And using your stats, that's how you know exactly what your audience online is looking for.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah. And another actual app is Google Analytics, right? So for those of you who use it or don't use it, check it out. But Google Analytics also allows you to link whatever links you want. So you can also watch your traffic on that and see what's working, what's not working, right? So Creative Cloud, we posted on our Instagram. You guys can check that out. There's more information. But yeah, that's definitely another way to see like what's working and what's not. Because again, you want to build on your KPIs, the key performance indicators, and what's working. So that's amazing. Thank you. Okay, so can you share, some ways that help you to stay? So I know you already mentioned the social media, the automation, but what other ways do you have that helps you stay consistent with your branding and your content?
Templates. So, well, first and foremost, let me just talk about, like, I just answered Janine's question. I posted in the link, the automation that I use. So you can go ahead and check that out. But one thing is templates. Like, ever since from the very beginning, I literally used Canva for everything. And that's like when Canva first started as well. So it was actually really glitchy. It was like, it wasn't really that good back then. But basically I just created, like, for example, I would structure everything and then I would produce the content. That way you can also see what works and what doesn't. Same thing, because you have a constant and you have the variable. So for me, it was like, I created 2 templates for my Instagram page. And as you can see, it's actually still the same thing because it worked, right? So one is like a woman with a quote, and that's like links back to my blog. And that's like their interview quotes or interview posts. And then the next one is like a circle with like just text. And then my pink signature color, and then the blog post. And then that links back to my blog as well. So always on social media, I always wanted to grab them off social media and onto my blog. So that's like how you want to utilize social, is not so that they stay on there, but that they go to your website. And so everything should be connected and related in that sense. So I created it with just like 2 templates, and I just posted it, and that way it's like a simple grid, because I mean, you're just alternating, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's what I did with everything. I mean, with headers, with my personal social media, like everything was just templated. So make it easy for yourself. Once you set up a structure, utilize it. And then once you want to change that structure, you can do it via templates as well.
I love that. Wow. That's so important. Like, I think, again, that's something people overlook, right? Is how easy it can be, right? So templates, there's so many templates, just like you said, that's out there. Even besides Canva, there's Creative Market, there's even just Googling it, you'll have so many others pop up. So just making it easy on yourself as a content creator, I think is very important. I love that advice, templates. I love that. Okay. So could you speak a little bit on the beginning stages of you as a blogger? You know, did you face any obstacles? And if so, what did you do to overcome them?
A ton of technical difficulties. I mean, having never started a blog before, having never even done any of that before, it was just one technicality after another, and it was just, I felt like my brain was going to explode. Like, it was like every single day, like I mean, but the thing was, I was so interested and so passionate about learning about it that like it didn't seem like I would always like research the problem and then fix that problem, and then another would emerge, and I'll research, fix. So I mean, that's the only way that you can learn, honestly, is just like, you know, learning what you don't know, right? And adding to your knowledge. And that's what I did. So yeah.
Yeah, that's all we can do is learn from our mistakes. And that's just the road of entrepreneurship, period, right? So content creator, that's what you guys are. You guys are entrepreneurs. Bloggers are entrepreneurs. So that's just the journey, you know. You have to understand it's going to go up and down all the way around. You know, you're going to fail. You're going to trip. You just got to get up and keep moving. So yeah.
The other thing is, I feel like a lot of people are there like, oh, but I'm not technically savvy, or, you know, they put these things on top of them, or like, oh, I can't make money blogging. If you think you can't, and you're telling yourself that, the reality is more than likely it's going to come true. You know what I mean? Like, mindset is like first and foremost, like, so important. So if you think you can't do it, you're not going to have the motivation to maybe figure out how to do it. You know, like, you might, you know what I mean? So I feel like for me, I think something that was really, like, I didn't know that you could make money blogging, but I also didn't think that it was impossible, you know? And so I feel like there was like a combination of those things. And I feel like I knew that it was hard, but then I also like knew that I could do it. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a lot of mindset things.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it all comes. I think anything we do in life though comes down to the mindset, right? Like, even if you want to work for someone else or work under someone, it still comes down to your mindset on how successful you can be in life. So, like you said, if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can, you can. So it's just about what you're telling yourself, what you believe, you know, and then that's what's going to help you on your journey. So I love that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm very curious. So actually, you did actually tell us this already. So how did you get your idea or concept? But okay, so when it came to your idea and concept, because I remember you mentioned that you didn't really want to talk about blogging though, right? So what made you actually though stick to that? Because even though your audience was asking you for it, you weren't as passionate about it in the beginning, right? So what made you passionate about it? Like, what made you want to stick with that idea?
So what happened was, after a year of blogging, I was interviewed on the Huffington Post, and they focused not on necessarily like what I blogged about, but about my blog specifically, and about like, you know, how she built a, you know, successful blog, hit 250,000 followers within a year, you know, whatever it was. And then that's when people started asking me questions like, oh, how did you start your blog? You know, and they started asking blogging specific related questions. And so I was like, okay, I'm answering these questions every single day. Let me just compile it into a course so that I could just like, you know, answer it in one fell swoop, and then that became my first product. Yeah. So I feel like that's how I started down that journey. And then after I like started creating the content for it, I was like, oh, you know what, I actually kind of enjoy this, you know. So that's kind of like, you know, how it came together.
That's interesting. I actually love that you pointed that out, because my coach actually taught us that the other day, of using your facts, right? Your frequently asked questions and turning that into a course or a video series or even content, right? So again, it's really easy to be a content creator. I think just we make it more complicated than it has to be. And so just even thinking of that, like, what are the 5 or 10 most common questions that your audience will ask you about, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, and then turn that, just like Elaine did, into a course, right? So that's great advice. Thank you. That's just funny that that's the second time I heard that this week. Okay, cool. So this one, I know everyone's very curious about this one. So, you know, you receive brand deals and, you know, you work with a lot of brands, collaborating, etc. What would you say are the top 3 things bloggers must do to get brand deals?
Okay, so actually the brand deal aspect is different than my blogging aspect because I have 2 brands. So I feel like I guess maybe I haven't like branded myself properly, but like the blogging side is my professional side. So basically I blog about, you know, I still blog about female entrepreneurs, blogging, etc. Then I have my personal brand where I talk about fashion, beauty, my own kind of stuff. But I actually don't blog about it. I only Instagram about it. So I get brand deals on Instagram specifically. But of course you can totally translate that into a blogging as well. But I just wanted to clarify that straight and foremost. But basically, first things first, you need a media kit. What a media kit is basically describing kind of like your demographics. And this is super simple. All you got to do is literally take a photo of your Instagram backend, your insights, and then maybe an insight from one of your photos. And then that could be your media kit. Like if you don't want to design or you don't have time to design, literally just send those 2 images to them and they'll know if they want to work with you. Because the reason why brands work with you is to tap into your audience. So if your audience is like all men and then they want to tap into women, it's not a good fit, right? So they'll know right off the bat. So that's why you want to give them those insights, because no matter how beautiful your page is, if your insights and your demographics don't match, it's just not a good fit. So of course you want it to be a good fit too, because when they share it with their audience, for example, how I was able to grow so quickly and get paid while growing your following is basically you get brand deals and then the brand shares your stuff on their page. And so it's kind of like almost like a collaboration. So not only are you getting free product, you're getting paid and you're getting free access to their audience. That's a win-win-win for you, right? So yeah, so definitely media kit, which is basically, as I said, just like your demographics, your audience, etc. So yeah. And then the second thing I would say is to pitch. A lot of times people are like, oh, I only have 200 followers or I have 2,000 followers. I'm not there yet. What does there yet mean? You know what I mean? There's not, you know, brands work anywhere from nano influencers, which are basically like, you know, 1,000 to 5,000 to micro influencers like 5,000, 10,000. And everyone has like different definitions of what's a nano, micro, or what's a micro influencer, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's really that the name doesn't matter, right? Because the brands are looking for what the brands are looking for. And if it's a good collaboration, it's a good match, they'll work with you.
Yeah. No, that's such a good thing that you point. 2 things that you point out are really good. Is that the amount of followers that you have, right? Because just like you said, a lot of content creators stop themselves because they feel like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't have 10,000, I don't have this. But, you know, even big brands like Nike will work with people who have 500 followers, right? And it just comes down to, again, your analytics, which is the second point that I love you pointed out, because again, people feel like you need all these different things. You know, you need all this photography, you need all these, you know, big media kit, big PR to help you get all these brand deals, when really it's like all you have to do is pitch them your analytics. You know, and I've been through that myself. I can speak from experience. Talking to a few brands, all they would ask me for is just my analytics, you know, and so it's really as simple as that.
Yeah, but there are definitely pitching techniques, which I do teach in my course, that are very specific in terms of how to exactly get on, like, for example, for Nike, right? Like you can't, like, there's certain people that you got to go through. There's certain ways about going about it to get to the right person. And after you get to the right person, how exactly to pitch them. That's where the technique is. But just trying out different things, there's no technique in that at all, right? That's just trying different things. Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's actually key, is knowing how to pitch to them. You're right. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. There's even like certain time frames. I mean, with like PR, when they check their emails or do they do DMs? Like there's like a whole array of things.
Definitely gonna drop your link right now so people can check out your courses and stuff. I love that. Okay, cool. So I'm curious about failures. You know, I know we kind of talked about obstacles, but have you ever experienced any failure regarding specifically like your blogging or even your personal brand when it comes to the IG stuff, you know? And if so, what did you learn from them?
To me, I don't consider anything a failure. I consider it just like stepping stones, because everything is just, to me, it's important how I talk to myself and how I talk to other people. Because once you feel like you're a failure, that messes with your mind. You know what I mean? Or once you feel, or if you think that you can fail, generally more than often, you're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. So if you think you're going to take the next step, maybe take a step back, take 2 steps back, take 3 steps forward. You know what I mean? That's an easier way to go about it versus thinking black and white. It's like fail or succeed. That's it, you know? So, and honestly, the more and more I'm like in the industry and, you know, with other entrepreneurs and stuff like that, like nobody knows what they're doing. Okay. So like literally everyone's figuring it out. So like, just try something, you know, everyone always, they like to like put other people on these pedestals and like, oh, they got it together, da da. Nobody's got it together. Just break that out of your mind.
Like that's 100%, you know, because that's so true. I think a lot of people think you can look at someone's IG page and think that it's so put together. Oh my gosh, everything's going well, but that's not true. You know, most of the time it's like we're all trying to figure it out. Even big people like Damon John and them, they still make mistakes. They're still trying to figure out certain things, right? So it's like there's no such thing as perfection in these fields. And yeah, just getting out of your head is so important, right? And just understanding too, what I love is like what Will Smith said, fail fast, right? Fail faster or something like that. It's not verbatim, but he's basically saying fail fast so that you can succeed quicker, kind of thing, right? So but I love that analogy of how like the stepping stones. I love that. Like it's all about perception. So just looking at it differently. Oh, I love that. I think every time now I think about failure, I'm just gonna think of it like that. So that's really
just take a step back, take 2 steps forward. And I feel like another thing that oftentimes like us when we start out, or even regardless where we are in our journey, right? We have to think of it as a journey, right? Yeah. Oftentimes when we're starting, we compare ourselves with people who are in the middle of their journey, right? Who like maybe are 2-3 years in or whatever it is. And that's great to aspire to be. However, they are 2-3 years along the path than you know what I mean? So you cannot say like, oh, how come I don't have 100,000 followers when they've been at it for a few years, you know what I mean? So like you have to really like keep yourself in check in terms of like, who are you aspiring to and are your goals, you know, realistic, you know, because if you're talking to yourself in terms of like, oh man, why are they XYZ? How come they XYZ? It's like that's gonna once again mess you up. Just focus on what you're doing, learn what you want to do, stay excited, stay passionate about it, and just keep learning. That's all you can do. You know what I mean?
No, I love that, you know, and I think that's a huge thing, especially when it comes to social media. You know, everyone knows it's a psychology thing, and you know, a lot of people go through this comparison thing, you know, and we have to step out of that. You know, you can't keep comparing yourself, even your business, your journey, anything. You can't compare yourself to anybody. Everyone has a different journey. Just like Elaine said, we all have our own different steps. You know what I'm saying? So just understand that and just stay focused on you. Stay focused on your goals, you know, and stay focused on what you want to create, and then it will happen for you, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is, I feel like that's really important to say is that like stuff that works for other people might not work for you because maybe their focus or like they like, I feel like a lot of like bloggers, they're actually really good marketers. I'm a really good marketer, but actually I don't even blog anymore. Like actually even from the very beginning, like I outsource my blogging, you know? So like, that's kind of like an interesting way to like think about it. Cause I feel like a lot of people think that like, oh, you need to have a certain set of skills, AKA be an incredible like writer to be a blogger. Right. Actually, you don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that great of a writer. I actually don't like to write, you know, but I'm considered a blogger, you know? So I feel like there's, once again, the whole perception thing, you know? I mean, I was talking to one of my interns the other day and I was like, how do you save like like a scheduled post? And she was like telling me, because I haven't blogged in so long, I don't, you know, the whole new platform, I like didn't even know what's going on. So I feel like, wait, but I had a point there, and that was like earlier.
We're talking about outsourcing, no, blogging. Oh shoot, I think we both kind of went.
Yeah, I kind of lost track a little bit. I kind of
it clearly had to happen. So, but yeah, blogging, outsourcing, which I think is actually a good point that you point out too, is the fact that you do outsource for someone to write your blog, right? I know many people like that. And I think that's something else to point out. I think is a good fact, because even for the people here, if you guys want to be a blogger and you're feeling like, oh my God, you know, I don't have all the time to write my own blog, blah, blah, you can do what Elaine's doing, right? You can outsource it. Another example is doing what I do. I like to write my own blogs. So I'm just a naturally born writer. So, but what I do is instead of like, you know, overdoing it or burning myself out, like doing a blog every day, I make sure I just do one blog a week. So every Wednesday, my audience knows they're getting a blog every Wednesday, right? So again, it's just finding, like what Elaine said, finding what works for you, right? That's what we're talking about. It's not the same schedule or the same routine or the same journey for anybody. So even when it comes to social media, when it comes to blogging, you know, some people may have to post 3 times a day. You know, for your brand, maybe posting 3 times a week is better. Like, you know, so it's just really finding what works for you. So yeah, I love that. Did you want to touch on anything regarding that?
Yeah, I love what you were, you know, I mean, I love that we have different styles. Obviously, you know, you're like pure, the artist, you know, the writer. I'm more of the marketer, brander kind of thing. But like my strategy was basically like posting every single day. So like for 2 whole years, I posted every single day on my blog, as well as my Instagram and everything like that. But as I said, once again, because of outsource, because of interns, because of automations, everything like that made it look and grow so much faster than I could have done it on my own. So I feel like, especially at the very beginning, oftentimes I feel like people, they're like, oh, well, I don't think I can get an intern, or I don't think that I'm not at that stage yet, or whatever. Right from the very start, I had an intern help me out. And she did PR for me, you know, and she's actually, even after she graduated from her internship, she still does PR, and she still like has gotten me into different events and stuff like that. And she's just really connected with me. So I feel like, yeah, I mean, don't think that you're at a certain level that you can't do something. Just like do what works for you. And for me, it was posting every day because I like fresh content. I like to be able to give that to people, and my audience specifically likes that from me. So you attract what you put out. So if you put out weekly, your audience likes weekly. You know, they don't want to be bombarded. Maybe they think every single day, they're like, okay, like that's too much, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, cool. So we're going to quickly just drop a poll right now. So everyone look at your screens. All right. All right, so the next poll is asking, what is your biggest challenge as a blogger and or content creator? Is it finding, knowing your target market? Is it attracting clients and customers? Is it social media marketing? Is it creating strategies? Is it social media advertising? Is it clarity with your vision, your mission, your message? Is it knowing what services and packages to sell? Is it email marketing, funnels and lead magnets? Or is it networking and collaborating? So what is your biggest challenge? All right, so I'll leave that there for a few more seconds. What is your biggest challenge? All right. All right, and we'll close it in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I'll share these with you guys so you guys can see them. So again, the biggest one is social media marketing. Again, I'm not surprised, you know? All right, thank you guys so much. I just wanted to throw that in there, like to keep you guys on your toes, you know? Okay. All right, so let's get back into it. So Elaine, so, you know, we mentioned it a few times, you know, it takes a lot of time and effort to create, to be a blogger, to be a content creator. You know, even if you are outsourcing, you still have things to do as an entrepreneur, you know? So what is your favorite thing to do for self-care to keep yourself rested and motivated?
I feel like honestly during quarantine, like since March, I've learned so much about self-care, like unbelievable, because I was doing nothing before. Seriously, like after March, I just like piled on everything. I was like, oh, quarantine, I got even more time. And then I got completely wiped. Like I'm talking about like burnt out. I have not been burnt out since corporate America. And I like, just like for I don't know, maybe like 3 months or so, my mind was like empty, and I couldn't think, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything because I overwhelmed my system and I was depleted. So now I'm like, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going through that. And I'm slowly crawling out of that right now, to be honest. I'm at a way better place than I was even just a month ago. But basically monthly massages is like #1 priority for me. I am not everyone likes massages, but for me, it's so relaxing, so calming, and it's a must-have. So my husband, every single week, I'm like, I schedule a massage with you, and then professional massage every month. So booking it in the calendar. And then honestly, just social activities, because I am an extrovert. And so basically an extrovert versus an introvert is basically just where you get your energy from. And as a blogger, more than often you're at home and you're just working on your computer. You know, I mean, sure, you could be outside, you at a coffee shop, but you're still working generally by yourself. Unless of course you have a team, but generally they're remote as well. Or, I mean, especially right now. So it's just different, you know? And I feel like before I had like a lot more social stuff planned in. And of course now, you know, so I just have to be really, really intentional about like planning things that are safe. But more than anything, just planning things. And I finally, I have hobbies now instead of just work. My hobbies was work before. So I mean, like, you know, going on bike rides, getting out more. I signed up for another gym, like different things like that, that really like, not only are you taking care of your physical self, emotional self, spiritual self, like everything I started getting aligned. So that's what's been really, really helping.
I love that. Because I mean, thank you for sharing that, you know, that you got burnt out. I think, again, it's another thing that we see a lot of influencers kind of, I guess, pretending in a way where it's like they don't get burnt out. They don't have these moments. We all have these moments, right? Like, I can relate to that as well. I burnt myself out one time and I had to learn. I was like, never again, because when you reach that point, just like she said, like she's been out of commission for like 3 months, that happened to me as well. And it really does mess with you. That's why I really think it's very important to know and acknowledge what works for you, right? Even when it comes to blogging, when it comes to social media, courses, whatever it is that you're doing, just understanding, like, you know, what works for you when it comes to marketing, you know, the timing, all that kind of stuff, because you don't want to burn yourself out, right? We're not trying to work hard here. We're trying to work smart, right? And if you listen to a lot of successful entrepreneurs, that's one of the key things that they constantly repeat is like working smart and, you know, just being smart about the way you work. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's very important. Like, I always love to tie in self-care again, you know, because we can't talk about entrepreneurship, we can't talk about content creation, blogging, whatever, without talking about our energy, right? Without talking about our mindset, our emotional well-being. And so all these little things really do matter, especially when it comes to your success. So
Yeah. And one other thing I would add to that is, honestly, I stopped prioritizing busyness. I feel like that's one huge thing, especially in America, that we prioritize, that we're like, if we are busy, that means we're doing enough, but we don't prioritize like reading a book, chilling out in your patio, whatever it is that you do, you know, like you are enough, you do enough, and that's fine. You know, I feel like, and I've come to terms with that in the sense of like, I don't have to be a human doer, I can be a human being, and that's okay, you know. So that was a huge aspect of like, you know, instead of like saying, oh, you know, like when people are like, oh, how are you doing, do you have time, you know, I'm like, oh no, I'm busy, you know, like, and I thought that was like, I don't know, elevated in my mind. I was like, busy is good, but busy is not good, especially for like everything in your life. Just like, yeah, it's okay to chill out.
no, that's like, I live by that, you know. I feel like we don't want to be busy, you want to be productive, right? And it's two totally different things. And
Yeah.
you know, that busyness, it came from society, right? It's just, it's how generations were before. Like, that's how they would work, right? They would outwork themselves, they would constantly work long hours. That was what they knew, that's what our parents knew. And so I feel like now our generation, the millennials, we're coming with a different approach. We're now prioritizing, just like you said, self-care over busyness, which is very important. I feel like that's what, but I feel like for me, from what I'm watching, I feel like that's creating more success though. I feel like more people are successful because they're prioritizing their mindset, their emotional well-being, you know, over being busy. So
Yeah, because you definitely want to, like, you don't want to work to work, you want to work to live, you know. And I feel that aspect I didn't even think. Obviously when you're starting your business, I mean, your first 2 years, it's okay to work because you're building your foundations and it's important, right? But after you kind of cap after 3-4 years, it's okay to like sit on those foundations and cruise a little bit before you start building again. And so, yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, right now I'm just sitting on my plateau, I'm resting until I start building my little mountain again.
and that's fine. I feel like that's like, I'm an advocate for that. For anyone who follows my personal page, I'm an advocate for taking your time, you know, moving at your own pace, you know, taking breaks when you need to, because I feel like no matter what, it's just, it goes back to what we were saying earlier of, if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't. So if you believe you'll be successful, taking a month, 3 months, 6 months break shouldn't interfere with your success. You're going to be successful no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So it just comes down to what you believe. So I love that. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about, your successful transition from blogging or creating the content for free to finally, like, getting paid for it. So what's one major thing that helped you to make that transition, from going from free, putting out putting out content for free to actually getting paid for it?
Actually, I feel like my blog was a little bit different because I actually started making money the first or second week. So that was very different, I think, than most people, because I think once again, I didn't have it in my mind that like you can't make money blogging, or like you can't or I don't know. And also I have a sales background. So basically I actually, and I don't know anybody else who's done this and who's been successful at it, but I actually charged people to interview them. So like that was, I just didn't know that was like not okay to do or something like that. I don't know. I feel like after a year of doing it, I was like, okay, you know what? That was good. I have my foundation built, and then I stopped charging them actually. And I switched my business model because I felt like it was a little bit, I mean, you'll get like 50% like, okay, I'm in, and the 50% like, how dare you reach out to me and like, ask me to, you know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? I don't want to be putting out that kind of energy, but I just really didn't know what to do, and of course it was working for me, and so every month I would charge more and more and more and more. And then after a year, I started tapping into affiliate marketing, which I wish I would have done at the very, very beginning. What affiliate marketing is basically like you promoting brands, or it's very organic within, your blog post. If they choose to click on it and if they choose to purchase, through your recommendation, then you actually get a percentage of the sale. And that is like wonderful for passive income. And the more affiliate links you have like in your blog post, just right from the very beginning, I mean, it only accrues, especially as your traffic grows, your blog grows, everything like that. So I wish I would have tapped into that more. And actually that's like the way that a lot of the bloggers that I know has started. And that's a lot less friction, but it also is a lot slower because of course you're not making like, the full amount, right? Like I was charging, like how X amount, per post. So it was like kind of like my blog was my service. So versus like you get what, 10% of $100 sale. So you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I definitely have changed business models a lot since starting all the way up until now.
Yeah, I love that. Two things that you mentioned. The affiliate marketing is very, very key. Actually, it's a underlooked, I would say, or underestimated way of like, making money. And I think it's especially for content creators and bloggers, it's just a simple, because really it's just like you taking a link and adding it to your blog about, I don't know, makeup. You're going to add a makeup link, that sells a lipstick. You're going to get $50 from selling that lipstick if someone buys it. And I think it's just like, you're already creating the content anyways, right? You're already putting out the blog post. So why not just add a link in there? And then you never know, maybe the 5 people who read your blog post will buy the lipstick, and then you get that commission. So it's a very underestimated way of like, having a cash flow. And so I think everyone should definitely look into that.
Yeah, and I would also say like it's a great way to like learn about what your audience is willing to buy from you, because like that's like an easy way to test the market in terms of like, okay, if like they're all buying lipstick and not blush from you, maybe you should start a lipstick line, and then you're like, okay, they all, this is the shades that they're looking for, and then that's the shades you develop and to an even better and formula, right? Like if they like give you the feedback, they're like, oh, you know what, this kind of dry, cracky, whatever. So like, yeah, like you see what sells, and then you create a better product that sells even better.
Right. I love that. That's very important. It really just comes back to just paying attention to your analytics, right? Another thing you pointed out that I love is that you mentioned testing, right? Entrepreneurship, being a content creator, being a blogger, whatever, testing is so important. This is what their journey is all about, right? And it comes to taking those steps back and forth all around that we were talking about earlier. When you're a blogger or content creator, that's all what it is, especially in the beginning stages, or maybe, and it'll be different for everyone. It could be like a year for most, 3 months for most, whatever. But it's really just about testing to see what works. Again, going back to your analytics and figuring out what works. And that all comes back to testing your idea, testing your brand. What do people like? Do they like what you're putting out? Do they like does your audience want that content, etc., right? So I love that you pointed that out, that you've been like, you know, you tested along your journey and you're still testing to this day. So
Mm-hmm. I think entrepreneurship, the whole thing is a test. You know, you're just like constantly, you know, going back and forth, just learning as you go. Yeah.
Exactly. That's really what it is. Okay, amazing. Okay, so aside from brand deals and collaborations, you also created your own list of services. So I know you have your courses and all that kind of stuff to help other bloggers be successful. So what is your approach to marketing your brand? You know, how do you advertise your business as a blogger?
So obviously through the blog, I would say like a component that you can definitely take away is that every single blog post that you produce should actually have a few components, such as a call to action in terms of like what you want them to do ultimately, you know, at the very end. It should have something along the lines of like how you can help them, you know, continue on so that they want to like learn more from you, get a service from you, whatever it is. So it should be within your blog post in terms of like how you can better like continue on with them, and then they sign up for your email list, and then you pitch them another, you know, like an email course or something like that. So it's just like wanting them to come along with the journey with you. If you can, you know, like teach them something, generally people listen to you and then want more from you. So yeah. So I mean, through blogging is really important.
Do you do any other marketing efforts? So do you, when it comes to distributing your content, do you focus anything on like, you know, earned distribution? So do you focus on PR or, you know, getting press, stuff like that?
With PR, yes. We're it's not a super huge focus because I feel like it's less like we work with influencers, we work with a little bit more, I would call it new age marketing techniques versus like even like Facebook ads. Yes, they work, but like working with influencers for us has been just like the number one marketing way, how to promote courses and stuff like that.
Right, right. Influencer marketing is definitely a good one, you know. Actually, I have a question about that because I feel like, I don't know if many people know this, but a lot of the marketing talk behind the scenes is when influencer marketing first became a huge craze in 2015, 2016, if, for those who remember, companies put in billions of dollars into influencer marketing. However, they also lost billions of dollars because a lot of the influencers ended up not really being influencers, right? So my question to you is, how do you actually know when, you know, you're choosing the right influencer to help market your brand?
That goes back to the media kit, right? Seeing their stats, does it work with yours? Seeing their insights, you know, does it tap into what the percentages that you're looking for and that you want? And that's it.
Simple as that. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I love that. Okay. Okay, so what are some of the mistakes, if any, that you wish you could have avoided on your journey as a blogger?
Once again, I wouldn't say like I would, you know, avoid anything or whatever, but I would have implemented email marketing way earlier. I feel like that was something, as with most people, they put off because it's too techy, it's another thing to learn, blah, blah, blah. But if I had just done it, you know, earlier on, I mean, like for example, when I hit like, I think it was like 150,000 followers, I was like, I wish I had those people in my email list, because what an email list is basically, it's like your truest, most loyal fans and most loyal followers are in your email list. Why? Because they specifically sign up so that they want to hear from you, right? Social media, while people do generally check it every single day, oftentimes people go on social media strikes or social media kind of like cleanses or whatever it is, but nobody goes on an email cleanse, right? I mean, we do have that email, that junk email that we all use, but in general, every single day, almost, it doesn't matter what generation you're in. If you're a millennial, you're a baby boomer, whatever, you check your email generally every single day. So if you are on an email list, I mean, more than likely, I mean, just the amount of purchases, the amount of people who check it, like that's like where you want it to be, right? For example, like if you send out a blog post to your email list, it's going to get clicked on like 80 times percent more than if you just put it out on to the internet, because those people already know who you are, they like your content and they want to read it, right? And so I feel like I would have invested in just learning about how to do that. And I do have a course coming out about it as well. But just like, yeah, how to start and get people into the email list. Because it's one thing to start it. It's a whole other to get people into the list.
Yeah.
What is your lead magnet going to be? What is your landing page going to look like? Once again, that's a whole testing aspect as well. That's very analytical too.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very important. For those who follow us on our Instagram page, you guys would have seen us post this, I think, a couple weeks ago or something about emails, right? And for those who don't know, one email in 2020 actually converts to $1. So, for example, if you have 100,000 email subscribers, that's $100,000. If you ever wanted to sell it, obviously taking the legal route, but it's just to show you how important emails are, right? Again, it's like it's your own personal database. Because another way I like to look at it is, imagine Instagram shut down, right? Imagine social media shut down and you only had your audience through those platforms. Then what? You have no other way of communicating with them or getting to them, and you'd have to start from the beginning. So having your own email database is literally like having your own phone of contacts, right? It's your own audience. Like no one can really take that from you, if that makes sense, right? So think of it also in that way. You never know what can happen with social media or even your social media platform, right? A lot of pages get hacked and stuff like that, right? So you want to start to think about all these things. So email lists are like the most important thing you have to do when it comes to marketing, okay? So thank you for pointing out. Okay, so what content or conversion or cash generating tips do you have for bloggers, especially during COVID?
I would say definitely stay within the times. There's certain things that you want to post or certain things you don't want to post. Huge things that you're promoting right now, obviously. I mean, hand sani, UV, sanitizer stuff. Also, make sure, obviously, it does match your content and what it is that you generally produce. But in general, I mean, everyone's going through the same thing. There should be some kind of product that you could promote that is relevant, to what's going on right now. If it's fashion, masks, right? If it's household cleaning supplies, whatever it is. So I would definitely, I mean, if you stay with what's trending, you stay with what's being purchased, you'll be in good hands.
Right. Nah, I love that. I love that. I think a tip for me, I would say during COVID, I would say to, really focus on the problem solving, just like Elaine is saying, right? It's just focus on the problems. Like, what are people talking about? There's a whole bunch of problems going on right now in the world. So there's a lot that we can, touch on. And, again, it's just aligning that with your brand and what you talk about. So, for example, in my personal branding, I talk about mindset and entrepreneurship. And so tying that in with what's going on in the world and answering, providing content that answers those problems is very important. So ask yourself that right now, what problems can I answer or solve right now for my audience? And then create content around that, right? So I love that you pointed that out. Okay, good. So that was literally like the last of our questions. So before we even start to close this off, I want to know, what do you have going on? Let us know, what do you have coming up next? Any projects, collaborations, etc.?
Yeah, so I'm revamping all my courses to be a very structured in terms of like, if you're like a beginner, this is where you go. If you're intermediate and expert. So it's kind of like 3 different sections. Broken down, versus right now my courses are like literally A to Z, every single thing you need to know about blogging and making money from it. Boom. Everything you need to know about how to make money on Instagram as an influencer, A to Z. Boom. So it's kind of like it just drops a bomb on you, and like I want it to be less overwhelming and more broken down. Of course, I will still have my A to Z awesome course, but I'm actually revamping that. And I just see Rosa, I'm currently taking your course, yay. So basically, I will be revamping that. I'll be adding more video, more everything. So that is to come, and it's a humongous project right now, huge undertaking. I'm hoping to have it done by 2021. So launch date probably January 1st. So I don't know, we'll see.
You already know, so stay tuned for that, and we'll definitely post it on our social media platforms when it does happen. Okay, so we are now going to get into another fun part, which is the pitch contest. So we are going to choose between 3 to 5 bloggers who are here who want to pitch your brand. So you'll have 1 minute to pitch your brand blog, right? And then between Elaine and I, we will choose a winner. The winner will walk away with 100, and let me double check the number because we actually had a sponsor. So let me shout out her. We have a sponsor, Liz Figueroa. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but she sponsored $30 to go towards the winner. So thank you so much, Liz, for doing that. So yeah, so for whoever wins will win $130 cash. And yeah, so who is brave enough to pitch their brand right now? We need 3 to 5 people, or 3 to 5. Yeah. Anybody? Okay, good. We have Sapphire. All right. Also, remember, if you are typing in the chat box, when it says 2, just click everyone, because some of you are messaging me privately, which is okay, but just in case you want it to be for everyone. Awesome, awesome. I'm reading the comments now. A lot of people are already taking the course. Rose is taking her course. Katharina is taking her course. I love that. Okay, so we have Sapphire who's willing to pitch. Articulate T who's willing to pitch. Awesome. Okay, do we have one more person? Anybody else who's brave enough? You know, I mean, even if you don't win, this is an opportunity to network, to get your brand out there, you know, get recognized, build awareness.
Be bold, be brave, you can do this.
Awesome. So we have Sapphire, Articulate T, and Emily Escobar. All right, anybody else? We're going to close it in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so Sapphire, Articulate T, and Emily are going to pitch. So who wants to go first? You guys can come on video if you want. Audio is fine just as well. It's your choice, all right? So we will start with, you know what, let's start from bottom to top. So Emily, if you're ready.
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. So you have 1 minute. So even if you're going, when the minute's up, I'm going to just cut you off, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, you can go whenever you're ready.
Okay, hi, I'm Emily Escobar. I'm a content creator. I focus on wellness, mental health, body positivity in college. I'm a senior at San Diego State. I run my own consulting and social media management side hustle. And I also run meditation classes for college students and family members and friends every Sunday night at 8 p.m.
Oh, awesome. And so is that what your blog is about?
My blog is kind of a combination of all of that, and then I interview women that inspire me.
Amazing. Okay, thank you. I love that. Okay. All right, next we'll have Articulate T.
So hi everybody. My name is Tara Articulate T. I am the owner of articulatet.com. I'm a human resource management student. I graduated as of 2019 from George Brown, and my blog is basically I make people transform their lives by making big impacts and big steps. I guide them through human resource information and how to, for example, use teamwork and conflict resolution. I also host webinars through with TDSB. So my blog is just basically about employability skills, life skills, and just basically bettering your life through making bigger steps and taking bigger impacts. So
Wow.
right now I collaborate with individuals that are from indigenous backgrounds, people who are from minority backgrounds, and I'm just trying to collaborate and make bigger steps to make micro communities. So that's what my blogging is about. Thank you.
Awesome. So much. No, thank you. That's amazing. All right, last we have Sapphire.
Hi, my name is Sapphire. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I go by Mango Butter on Instagram. I'm actually making a big move to the UK the last week of September. So this blog/vlog is my move there. So my idea is a platform for people of my similar demographic, young, female, urban, to navigate a new country that is so different than Toronto, Canada. So this will assist with accessibility, isolation, convenience. I will add value to my audience by providing tools to increase the opportunity for easy migration and increase the chance of immigration. Though those with my ethnic background would be able to identify better with all of my content, all ages, all ages, all races, and genders would benefit from engaging with my posts. So Mango Moves is the name of it, and it will be activated by through vlogs on platforms such as IG, YouTube, and website. These vlogs will unlock tried and tested services, stores, and restaurants that will enable a Torontonian to feel at home. Not only will I be speaking about services, but also live interviews with said stores and storefronts. In regards to content, it will be short videos, PSA style, to speak on first-rate spas, hairstyles for textured hair, restaurants, bars, groceries, native IG influencers, gyms, sightseeing, outdoors, partying, the hot spots for urban parties, borough and council navigation and activities. And what makes this even more convenient to fellow Canadians is sharing storefronts and restaurants and services in England that are equivalent to the places we would find in Canada. For instance, Walmart, Shoppers Drug Mart, Winners, The Bay, Canadian Tire, Curry's, and we can't forget something I hold dear to my heart is Caribbean food. So just finding these things a lot easier and connecting with said Torontonians.
For my business.
Sorry?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm just going to mute. Okay, so sorry, time's going to have to cut you, but that's okay. I love all your guys' ideas. So thank you so much, Tara, Emily, and Sapphire for pitching. Okay, so now Elaine, you can private message me who you think should be the winner. And I'll private message you who I think should be the winner. And then what we'll do is, there is also a $50 MasterCard gift card giveaway. So what we'll do is after me and Elaine choose the winner, we'll have the audience choose the second winner between the next two people who are left over. Okay, so I'll wait for Elaine. I'm gonna message you now, Elaine. You agree? Yeah, okay. Okay, awesome. All right, so we both agree on the same winner. So I'll try to do the drum roll. I don't know if you guys heard that, but okay. All right, so the winner is, congratulations to Articulate T. Tara, you are the winner. Congrats. We really love your idea. I think it's to the point, you're very focused. You have your vision, you have your mission. And I just love what you're doing. The HR, I think we do need more people to focus on that, right? So I love that. So congratulations. You will obviously get
so much.
No problem. You also get an email from the team, this week regarding that and how you'll get your prize. So look out for that, okay? So congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations. I feel Articulate T, you articulated your idea to a T. So that was, it was on point. I was tracking. I knew exactly where you're going. You were focused. You have one thing that you're focusing on. And it's a super, super lucrative niche that you're tapping into. I'm actually going to connect you with somebody that I know who's in your niche. I think her name is Lakeisha Davis or something like that. And she's making money. Okay, so it's something that I think you guys would connect well. And she's in a similar niche, but I think it'll be a good connect.
Thank you so much. This is amazing. Thank you, ladies.
No problem. Thank you for pitching again. And thank you, Elaine, for doing that. I love that. Just like I said, you never know where that could get you, just her pitching your brand. And now not only did she win this, but she now has a contact, that's going to help her build her network. So that's amazing. Okay, cool. So what we'll do now, audience, still stick with me. We're almost done. But now between Emily and Sapphire, who do you guys think should be the second winner? And this person will win the $50 MasterCard gift card. So just type it in the chat box. If you want to do it privately, if that makes you more comfortable, you can do that. But just type in the chat box who you guys feel should be the winner. So should it be Sapphire? And her idea was about the mango moods, if I got that name correctly. Right? About immigration, migration. Emily's was about wellness and mental health, and she does the meditations for college and university students. All right, so I'll give you guys about a few more seconds. I see some answers coming in. Okay, great. Awesome. Ooh, all right, we need some more answers. We're kind of having some ties here. Okay. All right, so we pretty much, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have, oh, wait a second. Okay, all right, cool. So I'm gonna shut it off now. Thank you guys so much for voting. We have our winner, and according to the votes, I got some private and some were open. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 Emilys and 3 Sapphires. So congratulations, Emily, you are the second winner. So you also receive an email this week regarding how you get your prize, but congratulations, you have a $50 MasterCard gift card that could be used for whatever you want, maybe advertising, who knows, you know, it's up to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Emily. That was, honestly, your pitch was really good. The two things that I would say is that, one, I would actually focus 100% on your wellness, that aspect of it. And that social media aspect, I think, is, I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe like additional service that you actually don't need. There's so much stuff that you can tap into with mindset and meditation and wellness that's super lucrative. You don't need that social media aspect. I feel like that kind of detracts a little bit from what you're kind of getting into. The other thing is that the focus on college students, while good, you're not going to be a college student forever. And are you going to relate to that target audience forever? No. So I would focus a little bit on something else in terms of target demographic, and not be so focused on college.
I love that. I would also say too, while you're even doing and hosting these little meditation groups and stuff like that, go back to marketing, what we were saying earlier about emails, right? I don't know if you have been already, but start collecting their emails, right? So when you have these meditation groups, to say, hey, you know, have a little form, sign-in sheet, whatever, not only take their names, but take their emails, their birthday, whatever that's going to work with your marketing, your brand, but take their information again, so that, just like Elaine's saying, if you do end up not wanting to be for college, university kids, you'll be able to still connect with them, you know, and those who really love you, love your branding, they'll still connect with you and follow you, right? So that's great advice, Elaine. Thank you. And yeah, do you have any advice for Sapphire, or does anybody have advice?
For Sapphire, I think that your what you have going on is good. It's a little bit, I like that you have a lot of ideas going on. What you do need to focus on is, once you have all those ideas and you kind of tap into a lot of them, see where your target audience leads you and what people are interested in more, and focus a little bit more on maybe 3 elements versus everything. It's a little bit too much right now. While, as I said, while the idea is good, you got your target demographic and all that stuff, it just needs to be a little bit more refined so that you actually can make money doing it.
Right, right. I was going to say the same thing. And what I will say, those two, I really love your idea, Sapphire. Like, I feel like that's another topic that needs to be, you know, more talked about, immigration and stuff like that, especially moving, all these different things. So I love, like, you're definitely on of the right track. You know, it's just what Elaine said, just, you know, making it more specific, more clear. And then once you get that, I think you'll just be like out of here, you know? So that's amazing. So thank you guys again so much for pitching. So before you guys go, I have one more poll. Look at the screen. One last poll coming in. All right. So it is, what is the main goal you want to achieve for producing your content? Do you want more customers and clients? Do you want bigger social media online followings? Do you want brand deals and collaborations? Do you want more opportunities and to get hired, right? And that's like, you know, hired from speakers, whatever. Do you want social media checks, right? Because Facebook pays people, Instagram pays people. So do you want that, right? So being clear, again, like we talked about throughout this call, being clear on your goals, being clear on your brand, being clear on your marketing, what you want, this will all help, right? And it's knowing how you want that to even convert. So, all right, so I'll leave this up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome, awesome. I'll share those with you guys. Brand deals and collaborations. All right, awesome. Okay, great. So that is it. We're literally ending of our event. I want to say thank you so much, Elaine, for being a speaker, for doing this, for, you know, providing us all this value and information. Thank you so much for all the attendees who attended. Thank you to the pitchers. Before you guys go to, as well, in the chat box, if you want to drop your Instagram accounts, your websites, feel free right now to take this opportunity to network and promote, you know, put your brand out there, gain awareness. right? And that's it. I thank you guys again so much. Thank you for being with me, being with us here today on a Saturday. It's time to create and convert so that you can cash in, okay? All right, I see all of them coming in. Thank you, thank you. Amazing. Love it, love it. Okay, again, thank you. So I thank you guys. You guys can get out here whenever you want. Elaine, I'll talk to you soon. I thank you again so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.